Hello, I am April Adams, and I am going to show you my favorite subconscious healing tools. They are called the Negative Emotion Destroyer Tracks, and it's by a company called Orpheus. So basically what you do is you go to the link that you see above, and you click on subscribe to the premium plan. And so you go ahead and you subscribe, make sure to use my discount code, which is Orpheus April in all caps. And then that should get you a huge discount on your first month, so you can try it out without having to worry about paying full price, but it does return to full price after that first month. Now, as far as using the tools, what you do once you have the subscription is you go in and you click on any of the negative emotions. So there's all these little boxes and compartments on the website. It's called an app, but it's a website. So there's all these little boxes, and one says like stress, and one says anxiety, and one says depression. They all contain the same negative emotion destroyer tracks. That's what you're looking for. Anytime you want to work on your emotions at all, you look for negative emotion destroyer tracks. And in the beginning, it's okay to just stick with whichever one you choose. So if you go to negative emotion destroyer track 1, that you can use that one for the first couple of weeks just to get used to the process and everything. But once you start to feel really comfortable with it, you almost feel like you have it memorized or whatever, then you might want to start switching it up between all 4 of the tracks so that you're keeping your brain on its toes. Now, basically what this tool does is it convinces your subconscious mind that you're safe in the face of a perceived threat. When you have a strong emotional reaction to something, it's because your subconscious sees a threat in that thing. And so if you can convince the subconscious mind that you are safe in that situation, you can move on from it. Not only do you stop having your fight or flight response to it, or whatever your emotional or chemical response is to that thing, you also stop ruminating about it, because your brain doesn't see the value in ruminating about something that isn't a problem or isn't a threat. The reason we tend to keep going and over and over and over things is because our subconscious sees a threat there. And so, if you had a conversation with someone and you keep replaying it over and over again, your subconscious is going, oh, something went wrong in that conversation. So how can we avoid that conversation altogether the next time? Or how can we do it better the next time it happens? What should I have said? The brain wants to rehearse it until you've got it down and you can feel secure that you can handle that thing next time it happens, or avoid it. But if you can convince the subconscious you're safe, you don't need to do that. We needed this survival reactivity when our ancestors were threatened constantly and being chased by predators and having their territory threatened and all of that. It was highly necessary for this constant hypervigilance to be happening and to be reactive to things that could be a threat. But now it's like all of these first world problems are creating this same level of reactivity in us that isn't appropriate to the situation or the level of actual threat, if there is even a threat there at all. So that's what these tools do, is convince the subconscious mind that you're safe. So what you do with this track is basically, in the beginning, he tells you to bring that feeling up, think your thoughts about whatever that situation is. And typically I like to just start with, as a practice round, coming up with something that has annoyed you within the last week or so, something that you had a hard time letting go of. And so just you start with that, you replay the situation and, all the negative thoughts you had about it and all of that afterward and during it, and just let whatever emotion or chemical reaction in your body comes up as a natural result of thinking those thoughts and replaying that memory. And then you push play on the track, and he has you rate on a scale of 0 to 10 how intense your emotions are around that particular issue. So you do the rating piece, and then he introduces you to the most effective portion of this tool, which is the tapping that you'll be doing throughout. So he'll say, this is the sound for your right hand. Whenever you hear the sound, I want you to tap your right hand. This is the one for your left. This is the one for both hands. And he'll walk you through that. And so throughout the track, those sounds are played at random, and your brain is so busy going, am I tapping to the right thing at the right time, that the words on the track are much more able to access the subconscious mind and create change on that level. And Also, all of this tapping and everything creates a little bit of bilateral stimulation in your brain so that you're in a whole brain state while this is happening. Essentially, these tools combine every brain retraining modality that's ever been proven effective into one tool. So it's just more effective, more quickly, and more permanently than anything else that we've encountered because they fill in each other's blanks. You know, for instance, if you get hypnosis, you have to go several times for it to be effective on a particular thing. You also need to make sure that you're hitting the root of whatever it is that you're working on and not just deal with symptoms. And so it's effective, but you have to keep doing it. And you have to do it right and all of that. Same thing with EMDR, for instance. You go multiple times before it takes effect and gets you the relief from your trauma. So it includes those kinds of modalities plus other modalities. And the creator of this system used to be a computer programmer, and he recognized similarities between how the human brain processes information, language patterns, and how a computer does. And so he has figured out kind of how to reprogram the human computer. And it is fascinating. It's incredible. So essentially, every single second, every word, every tap, everything on this track is designed to help your brain receive the message that it's safe so that you can let go of whatever it is, so you're not having that immediate response to it, and so that you're not fixating on that. So what you do is you go ahead and get worked up, you push play, you do your rating, you learn what tapping sequence you're going to be doing, and then you continue to try to stay upset about whatever it is that you're working on throughout the track. So I'd like you to go ahead and do a round of that now. At the end of this video, I'd like you to go ahead and go do one round of the emotional track and, you know, the negative emotion clearing track. So doing that, doing one full round, and I'll pretty much try to call it the destroyer at this point, you know, from here on out. Whenever I say the destroyer, that's what I'm talking about. So you use this destroyer to think about and try to hold on to and try to feel those negative feelings, try to replay those negative memories. Don't try to forgive anyone. Don't try to put a positive spin on everything. They're doing that for you. That's what the track is doing. So your top priority is trying to stay with those negative thoughts and feelings. Second priority is trying your best to tap correctly. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as you're trying to do it correctly, you're doing it right. And it's not your responsibility to try to listen closely to him. It's just going to be too much. If you're constantly trying to feel your negative feelings, think your negative thoughts, tap correctly, and listen closely to him, it's just too much for your brain to handle. He's speaking to your subconscious mind, so as long as you can physically hear him, it is effective. So you're fixating and freaking out just like your brain naturally wants to do about an issue. You're trying your best to tap correctly. You get to the end, you give it another rating at the end to see what progress you've made. And then once you have completed that, you will come back here and we'll talk about it a little bit more to take it a little bit deeper. We're going to take it to the next level.